Now, I'm not certain how playing in the kitchen with Katie got me here, but here we are. Our first stop is going to be to our local meat market. This was a surprise trip to the meat market. My momager took me here, and I'm glad that I ended up coming because when I tell you this definitely put a little razzle dazzle to my meal, they definitely came through with the deals as well. Okay, I'll try to put a little bar on that if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But moving on, we're now in the meat market, and we actually picked up a turkey leg. In the beginning of this clip, you saw some Cornish hens on the grill, which would reveal how I ended up here. Because previously on Curated by KD, we went out of town, and I think generally speaking, my dad was just like, "Well, what are we having for Thanksgiving?" And I was just like, "Well, I would love some Cornish hens." So we got the Cornish hens on the grill while I headed to the meat market to pick up this turkey leg with my mom so that I can smoke this and so I don't have to, you know what? No, because we don't have to make anybody mad. But if we do it, we definitely do it from scratch. So yes, I'm picking up this turkey leg because I also realized I really don't even like chicken broth water. So I wanted to definitely get a nice turkey leg, smoke it, put it in some water, give it some flavor. I also love onions. I feel like it adds a really nice flavor. So I'm really thinking, this is my first time making greens. I'm really trying to do my thing. And I'm like going to the meat market. My mom definitely, like I said, put a little razzle dazzle on that one because I never would have thought to pick up a turkey leg. I was definitely going to put some bacon inside of that mug and see what that was gonna do, but I don't even want to try that anymore because now I know the key is you got to go to the meat market. That's why I'm showing y'all all this good meat that they got, because it's like what you don't see in stores you can definitely go to your local meat market for. But they're not sponsoring me for this, so we're gonna move on from that. But just in case you do, I am here because this is what I do. And what I do like about this meat market is they are fairly up to date and modern with their monthly calendar for deals, and they are on social sites. So now that we secured the goods, it's time to slip inside and take it to the house. So now is where it gets fun, but also a little tricky for me because I am not always, but sometimes quite often heavy-handed on my seasonings because I like a lot of flavor, 32 flavors. I need it. Okay, but I'm knowing that this is my first time doing this. I'm feeding the family. I have to get this right. So keep it cute, keep it light, because sometimes they even prefer things to be just a little bland in my opinion, or a little less flavorless than what I would like. Because even when I know that I over season, it's still sometimes to my liking. But I'm just trying to take it easy. So I did put my mustard on it because that's one of my favorite binding agents for the seasoning, because I be feeling like my seasoning be falling off. But ever since somebody told me I need to put mustard on my meat, it's been working out. So I seasoned it with the Lawry's, the pepper, and paprika, and like maybe that's it. And y'all saw from the beginning when we had the Cornish hens on the grill is smoking. So with the grill smoking, I went ahead and popped that turkey leg on there and thought I followed directions, but I did not. So my dad told me to put it on the grill and then open the smokestack. So here I am thinking that I am opening up the smokestack, only to realize that the smokestack is what I would call a chimney on the grill. And I was wondering why I was just like taking forever while I was cooking. So rookie mistake. But grow power. And as they say, all is well that ends well. So with that being said, moving on. When God said, "I am who I say I am," I felt him on that because only he could get me through this. With special thanks to my parental unit, because my stepdad definitely had to help me get that grill together to get it smoking like this. And I also fell asleep. So my mom took this footage for me. So shout out to the momager because I was definitely asleep. I'm in the bed by 6 o'clock. So while this was smoking on the grill, getting right, I was catching Z's and totally would have forgot about that mug. But they came through, got me together with not only the food and the content. So bless up them for that. So here I am. I'm now putting the crock pot in with my meat so that way I can make my water. Like I said, I really don't care for broth, but I figure with the seasonings that I put on there, which is why I kind of wanted to over season because I knew I wanted to make my own water, so I shouldn't have been afraid to. Spoiler alert, it did turn out good, but I'm just saying, I'm like just adding some additional flavors in it with the onion so that way I can make sure all the flavors coming out of the meat coming into the water so that when we put the greens in, the water is seasoned and that way it seeps into the greens so that way it can really taste like what I envisioned it tastes like, and it did. I'm really proud because I was just like, really don't remember eating onions inside of greens, but I love onions, so I'm gonna do my thing in my greens, and it's good. So I done put my little chopped up onions in there, switched it around in the water. I let that sit for like maybe an hour and a half before I actually put the greens in there. But first, I did wash them because I don't want to hear nothing from nobody, even though these came out of a bag. I know that they still may need a little rinse, wash, whatever the case may be. So I turned on some, I guess, room temperature water and I just put them inside of a cauldron because I didn't even feel like doing too much. I'm like, child, we done already smoked the turkey, went to sleep, woke up, the turkey done. Now we actually had to wake up in the wee hours in the morning and cook these collard greens and get it started. It's just like at this point, child, if you know then you know me, then I'm just ready to be done. Now I know for next year, if you're gonna cook food, you getting day 2 food from me because this will definitely be cooked the night before because having to stress and make sure that it's done the day up is a lot of pressure. And you want it to be good? Oh no, baby, you need to make sure this is done the day before so you can taste it. Just in case it ain't right, you can go ahead and start back over because you just never know. So here we are. Like I said, the greens have been washed. Now I'm putting them inside a pot because, like I said, I let the water sit for like an hour and a half. So now that I gave the greens a nice little rinse, here I am stuffing them inside of the crock pot. Now at this point, like I said, I done smoked this turkey leg. Okay, I done went to get it. I don't know how long these greens gonna take because it's my first time doing this. So at this point, I am using the crock pot because I don't want to have to watch anything on the stove. And that is just the honest opinion. I like that I can just stuff all of this stuff in the crock pot, let it sit, and it'll be done when it's done. Now that is a thing, it being done when it's done, because this crock pot took like 8 hours. But now I see, now that I think about it, when I was younger, my grandma and my auntie would definitely put the greens on before we went to church. And then by the time we got done playing after church, the greens were finally done. But again, I woke up in the wee hours in the morning, thinking that this would be done by noon, maybe 2. It was given like 4 or 6 around the time that I did not want to eat because I specifically like eating at like 2 and 4. But we really had to have Thanksgiving dinner eating at 6. Again, at this point, if y'all just heard me say with this turkey leg, by 6 o'clock, I'll be asleep. So guess who just decided that they were just going to cook this and then put the spread out, and I was done. Like, now I see why people who make the meal don't eat the meal. It's just like after you cook it, like, who, I don't want to, I'm just want to go sleep at this point. Like, thank God it's done. Y'all enjoy it, and I'm going to enjoy this day too. Thanksgiving meal, which is what you really should be giving these people on Thanksgiving Day, giving them day 2 food, because y'all know day 2 food is better anyway. So I really don't see the problem in serving day 2 food, being that this is a 2-day task just to make food. So after I stuffed all of these in there, I let it sit for a few hours. I stepped outside, I edited, did what I need to do, and I think my neighbors had some real animals. So listen. When I tell you they had that grill going and that went on for however long, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. But I'm in here minding my business because I'm like, tenderness. This is what I want my greens to look like. So I'm just making sure that the meat is falling off of the bone the way that I want it to, because I'm just like, yes, I can't believe I did this, on my first try. And I'm just like, girl, look at you. This all you. And yes, it is, Definitely did my thing. So I'm like, let me just go ahead. I'm really just looking for a small enough piece to take off, as well as, the bones and the stuff like that. So I tasted it. It was real good. And I just put out a spread, like I said, for everybody, because at that point I was just done with the day. So happy Thanksgiving.
High volume. Am I really that?